Hello everyone, it's me, Nancy Finch, doing another Tea with Nan on a Monday. I'm back. I wasn't here last week. I was attending a very, very special funeral, which was a really lovely send-off. So today I'm back. I've got my rainbows cup today. It's lovely and it's sunny outside and it's a bit breezy, but it's so beautiful. So I hope some of you can join me on this Monday with a nice cuppa. Keep warm and safe. And today's Tea with Nan is going to be about no hole in my boat. Now, the reason why I mentioned this, and of course I've got lots of interesting stories and things to tell you about it, but at the funeral when I was there last week, there was a lovely lady I was talking to, and she was talking about worry, and there was another client of mine talking about worry, and worry seems to take over a lot of people's mind activity, our energy goes towards the worry. We're trying to find solution all the time. So when we're worried about something, it's very bad for us and our body, our emotions, and what we attract into our life, which I'm always talking about. So I said for both of those people, I thought I'm going to do no hole in my boat, which is, some of my clients know this already. It's about being detached. It's about realizing that we can be objective and we can stand away from the problem and almost look down upon it. So we're not actually involved so deeply with that emotional reaction to whatever's going on. And this can even work on a very personal, very deep level. And I've used this a lot. I made this up a long time ago, and I used to do workshops on this actually. And this is a little picture of two boats. Now I know underneath you've got this written the wrong way around, but it does say no hole in my boat. Obviously you'll have to turn that round in your mind or write it out, which will be brilliant. Someone's just joined us. Hello. Oh, it's Val. Hello, darling. Happy Monday hugs to you. You made me smile. And Annie as well. It's lovely you're here. Thank you. So just in case you missed that last bit, no hole in my boat is the subject of today. And it's about how we conserve our energy for the people we love. Not because we don't love them, we don't walk away from that situation, we are there with them, but we're not going to be dragged down. And this is a little story I'd like to share with you. I gave to my clients and friends, and this seems to can make the whole situation better. Okay, as you know, it's always a positive thing I'm doing. So no hole in my boat. Yes, it's written the wrong way around, but this is a little picture of two boats. Now I want you to imagine that you're in one of these boats. Okay, there you are, floating on top of the water, and here's the boat of someone you love. This could be a son, a daughter, a family member. Oh, Maggie, oh, that's nice. You're here as well. I don't recognise your name. It's lovely. Thank you for being with us. Happy Monday. So back to this picture. Here we go. We've got two boats. Imagine you're in one of them. Okay, this is a very good thing to remember when a situation happens around you, that you automatically would be worried about your family member or friends or someone you care about. What doesn't matter. Whatever you're involved with and your heart goes, oh, I'm really worried about them. Remember this story. Okay, so that's me in a boat or you in a boat, and that's someone you care about, this boat here. And they're in this boat, and this boat's got a hole in it. And this boat is sinking right down beneath the water because of the situation they're in. They're going down and down and down and down. Well, you don't put a hole in your boat just so you join them. Yes, it's company as they're going down. You don't put a hole in this boat. They're going down and you're aware of them going down and you're trying to help them. But if you put a hole in this boat, yes, you're company, but you're both at the bottom of the river. You're not actually anywhere where you can help that person, and you're hurting yourself. So if you can imagine, there you are, and yes, that person's going down and you're watching them, and it's hard. Yes, I've done this with a family member I'll talk about in a minute. So this person you love is going down, 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 disappearing under the water. You have got to be the boat without the hole. Imagine, there you are. There's somewhere for that person to come up to. If you put a hole in your boat and you feel every feeling that they do, because we empathize with those we love, then we're both going to be going down. And picture that. That's not good for any reason at all. That's not good because you're not helping the situation in any way by worrying about that person. That is not the same as loving them. You can love them, but not worry about them. Okay, this takes a little bit of discipline, I made it up because I know that when you worry about something, or someone, sorry, in this case, then this base chakra shuts down, okay? And this is your main battery that feeds up through your body. You need that battery to keep you well, to be there for your family members. You need to have that topped up. So you need to be, as much as you can, aware of those thoughts being a worry. So when you think, I'm thinking about him or her, thinking about someone I love, whatever, and you're really concerned, and of course we do that because we love them, be aware that you're actually putting a hole in your boat and you're going down. Now, you know, quite often the people we worry about, they've managed to get themselves right up again to the surface, but you don't even notice because you're still down here, and they're okay again, and you're down here. You're physically down here, you're emotionally down here, and what is worse, by feeling something for more than 17 seconds, you are locking it into your body, and by the law of attraction, you're more likely to have more situations around you that keep you at the bottom of the water, of the bed of the river. You need to be up here. So basically, be aware that that thought, that feeling, I'm worried about so-and-so, is actually putting a hole in your boat, and you don't even know it. And you need to conserve your energy. You need to be there on an emotional level as well. And if we're worried about someone, that's all we think about. We don't see the flowers in the garden. We don't enjoy our lives as much because worry takes that away. And if we can just be objective, you're in a better place to be an inspiration to that person who's thinking. You're in a better place to actually think better thoughts. So more likely to be positive. So how I use this, I made this up years ago, but how I used it was when a family member of mine was very, very, very sick. And it was a very serious situation. And I wasn't quite sure, it was life-threatening actually, and I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen, and I had no control over it. And all you can do is have faith or trust and hope that something good's going to happen. So what I did is I pictured myself in the boat, and this family member was in here. And yes, he was going down, down, down. I imagined I was going to throw a rope. This is quite funny. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, darling. So imagine I'm throwing a rope down. So you're not actually abandoning the person that's going down here. You're throwing a rope down to them. And they can come up and join you in your boat where they're safe. So metaphorically, you're still caring and giving love and support, but you're not feeling as if you're sinking with those feelings. You're not being affected on all those physical, emotional, mental levels and law of attraction levels. You don't want that. You don't need to order more of that. So there we are. Recap. There's me. There's that family member. He's sinking. I've got no control over that. And all I'm doing is throwing down a metaphoric rope, but knowing that somehow he's going to be okay. He's going to take that rope. He's going to come up to the surface. He's going to be okay. He can join me in the boat. Everything's fine again. That's what I did. You have to have faith. You have to have trust. You have this blind trust, obviously, because you don't know what's going to happen. But if you had that thought, everything's going to be okay, you're more likely to attract that into your life, and for your loved one, for the person you love. You're more likely to attract the solution to come to them because you're thinking here, not down here. If we're worried about something, we tend to think of negative thoughts down here, and that's only going to attract more negative thoughts for yourself and ironically around you. And we don't need that. We need to be here so that we are everything we can be for that person. So it happened to me with that family member, and I had to have faith that he would be okay, that he would come up from the water and somehow join me in the okay place in my boat there. So, and he did. He did. He was fine. And you know what? He said to me afterwards, he said, "Oh, that must have been really worrying for you." And I said, "No, there's no hole in my boat." And we both laughed, because you see, that means that that family member can come back to me, and he can trust that I won't be dragged down by that situation, because I can be objective. I can have myself in a positive place throughout that he was going through that situation. And if I can do that with someone I love very dearly, we can do that with our friends and people that we generally care about. If I can do it on such an extreme level, so can you. It just takes a little bit of practice. As I say, it doesn't mean we don't care. Yes, we do. But someone's got to be there in a calm and tranquil place up here in that boat. Someone's got to be waiting in a secure place for that person. That's probably the best way I can describe it, actually. So if we can be aware, yes, I'm worried, I'm thinking about this person, oh, I love them so much, I hope this doesn't happen. That's all very bad for you. Bad for your body, bad for your mind, and law of attraction. You'll see more likely everything around you will remind you of those feelings. So, because you call them into your life. So, just think of me, think of the boat, and many of my clients love this. Every time they get dragged down by a worry of someone they love, there's no hole in my boat. And if you can just say that to yourself, your subconscious mind, which is 95%, will believe everything you tell it. So even though your conscious mind goes, oh, but I am worried, the subconscious brain will say, okay, no hole, detached. And with practice, this gets easier and easier, okay? But to imagine, to put faith and trust in the fact that somehow they're going to come up that rope, they're going to be okay, and they'll be on the surface of that water, is really good for you. It's good for them, really is, because you're giving positive energy to that situation, and they can feel it, and the law of attraction works that way as well. But even if you had a terrible result from that, you at least are in the best. Supposing you didn't get the result you want and the person isn't okay. Very rarely that happens, but if it is, because you're putting energy to it, but if you do find a situation where you really don't have that result that you want, at least you've kept yourself in a good place up here so you can still love them, but be there for them on a healthier level. You know, it's not codependent, it's healthy. You can be consistently there for them in a much higher vibration of energy because you're a little bit detached and trusting that somehow they're going to be there. This isn't on my board, but I spoke to a lovely lady in the shop yesterday. I'm hearing this, says Vicky. So nice to be helping friends and not being drained anymore. Yes, exactly. Vicky, this is so true. You can I love people with all my heart. I really do. But as much as you love them, you have to be a little bit detached. Don't be drained. Don't be exhausted. You know, how many people say that they get dragged down by someone who is in a bad place? And quite often, while they're feeling this horrible, bad, sad, negative feeling, that person is either come back up to the surface, they're doing fine, and you're going, what happened? And I'm the one that's feeling drained. So that can happen. And also, quite often, if we can be objective and realize there's a reason for everything that happens, we may not react quite so. You might not be there with that feeling. We might just trust somehow something good will always come from something bad. I always say this, and I've got a couple of little things that I want to give you, like the tea with Nan. A few weeks ago on here, on the 9th of the 10th, 23, I'm interested but not involved. That goes really well with this. I'm interested as to why that person has to experience whatever they're doing on a soul level. I'm interested but not involved, which means I really care, but another way of thinking of it, I don't have to fix them. I can let them fix themselves, and I'll stay here in my boat. You can use both at the same time. They link beautifully. I'll stay here in my boat without the hull, okay? And many, many people will take that image or draw that image just to remind them every day not to be drained, not to be dragged down, because that way they're more for themselves and others, aren't they? And the world, collective consciousness as well. So it is a good way to remind yourself. But these two go together. I'm interested but not involved. This means I can stay a little bit objective. I can look down upon this situation and see it clearer than I would if I was reacting to it. With, yes, have empathy, yes, have love, but you're not going to be reacting so much that you can't see a way out of it. You can see it clearly when you're up here. You know, you're looking down on a situation, you've got more clarity on it, you're not involved. So there's lots of reasons why. Have a listen to that, and that might make this talk a little bit easier for you to digest. And also the Nan talks I've got is cross it out in the red section. So what I mean by that, you go to my website, or YouTube actually, I've got it on there as well, www.nancyfinch.co.uk. and go onto my website, and there's a little chakra man here for the meditations that are all free, and for the Nan talks. Nan talks are exercises. What we're doing here is tea with Nan, informal. So they're both on there, all of it's on there. So the Nan Talks, cross it out, is in the red section. Now, what I mean by that, so you go onto that, click on that, and you'll find some of the talks, and one of them will be cross it out. So cross it out is about how we would cross out. I mean, I explain it a lot in this talk. Crossing out that thought, that worry. You're making some action, some visual thing of crossing it out. I'm not going to think of that. I'm going to think of the solution. And I do show you another little diagram like that when you go onto it. So if you want to look at that, that will help you to generally cross out worry, whether it's about somebody or something or money or circumstances or things around us. That really helps you to cross it out and to be selective with it, where you place your energy and what you attract back into your life and how you affect your body. That's really good for you to keep that energy working. This one here, you need it to go up through your body to fix you, to help you, to keep you well. You need that driving energy. You do need it. And especially when there's so many sort of illnesses around in winter, we need to be well. And we need to be an inspiration to each other, don't we, and to our family members. So cross it out in Nan Talks in the red section. And Tea with Nan, I'm interested but not involved, 9th of the 10th. So go back a bit on my talk, my Tea with Nans, and have a look at that, because it will knit nicely with what we're talking about. So going back to this, I mean, we're obviously going to protect ourselves physically, emotionally. We're going to keep our energies in place. We're going to be, as I say, objective. We're going to be an inspiration to those people we worry about. In either way, it's a win-win situation. And the best thing is, if that person that you have been worried about knows you're worried about them, well, that's not going to help them, is it? They're going to be worried about you worrying about them. And you want to make sure that you don't show that you're worried. In a sense, I just trust that that person's going to be okay. I just know it. And that energy of that thought can help you, can help them. It's going to be a great inspiration to them when they do have further worries in their lives and situations. So it's good for them. So you're not detaching because you don't care. You're detaching because you need to conserve your energy and be there for them on a much higher vibrational level. So there's your little picture again. You could always take a quick screenshot of this if you want to. Or you can just look up 2 boats or draw 2 boats. One of my clients loved drawing her little boats, and she said that she put it somewhere that she could remember that every time those thoughts drift to worry about somebody, because we can easily go there, she had to remember to go back to this image. There's no hole in my boat. So just to recap, there's you all, it doesn't matter which boat you're in. That's me or you. That's the boat with somebody you care in is in the boat, and they got a hole. They're going down. You're watching them going down. It's a horrible, fearful, it's a nasty, horrible feeling to feel that you can't help someone you love. It consumes you. Of course it does. But if you could just remember, I'm just going to throw down a rope, metaphorically, I'm going to imagine that that person's going to come back up to the surface. And everything's right again. That's going to make you feel good. It's all you can do. Quite often there's no control over another person's situation. And if you can just throw down that rope and trust that person's coming back up. And just focus on that for 20 seconds, 17 to be precise, because that's going to correct any worry you have. It's going to help you to stay in a nice, tranquil, easy, secure place. And you've got good things that come from that on all levels. So it's a good thing to remember. So write it down. There's no hole in my boat. Maybe draw a little boat beside it. And just remember, to keep your energy is to be good for you, for them, for the law of attraction, to be an example. You can't go wrong with this at all, because it will help you and them. So I'm just looking at my board here to see if there's anything I've forgotten. I don't think I have. I bet there's everybody listening to here. I mean, it's very rare that someone isn't going to be thinking or concerned about someone else. So I tend to use that word worry. I tend to put that in the bin, chuck it in the bucket. And I tend to use the word concerned. I'm concerned about this person. They're suffering, or they're in danger, or whatever. I tend to replace that word instead of saying worry, because worry is a very big word in our minds, and it can immediately put you into a fearful place. If you say concerned, it's not quite as bad as worry. It doesn't have the same power over you. And going back to that person I was about to say to tell you about randomly. There was a lady in a shop who was serving yesterday, and I asked her how her son was, and she said, not very good. And you could see her whole energy dropped. And there's not much she can do to help him. He's got mental problems and he needs to help himself, bless him. And all she can do is love him. So I reminded her of that. I said, love him, stay above the situation. I didn't go into this story, but I thought if she could just stay above the situation and love him, she's not dragged down. Because immediately when I mentioned him, she went right down. I could see her energy. Oh, she just lost her energy. You know, it drained from her. And nothing good will come from that. So I had to bring her back up again. I might take her a picture of this in actually, because it's just objective, knowing, trusting from here that that person's going to come up to the surface and everything's going to be all right again. So remember that when you're worried about somebody. Or if you're not now, that's great. But keep this in mind in case there is an occasion where you feel, oh, I wish I could do more for this person. I'm not enough. What's going to happen? And in many cases, this has happened to me. I've used this many, many times for family members where there's been several very serious conditions, life-threatening as well. And I had to say, no, with the crosses, cross it out. I had to say, I'm interested and not involved. Step back. What's going on? I'm going to look down on this. But most of all, there's no hole in my boat. Because I knew I had to be there for that family member. And it takes a bit of discipline and mindfulness not to do what you've always done. We've always been taught how to react to solve problems. And with that comes worry because you love them. So you think that's together. Because I love them, I have to worry. But you don't actually have to worry. You can be more for them if you don't worry. Okay? So simple and very effective, says Val. Thank you, Val. Oh, it's so good. And Vicky, you don't have to be drained by your friends anymore, bless them. They've got reasons why they are in that situation. And you can be there with a big open heart. We don't have to fix everyone. We can help them to fix themselves. You know, like I say, I'm interested and not involved. I wouldn't open my next door neighbour's parcel. If it got delivered to me, I'd give it back. And I'd give him the opportunity to open it himself. I'd let him open his own parcels, let him deal with what he's ordered. And that's how we empower people, each other. So it's good to empower a person with support, but also their independent solution. You don't have to fix them. That's what that's all about. You can be there to inspire them. I'm interested but not involved. So quite a lot of my clients and friends love to write this one down. I'm interested but not involved. And there's no hole in my boat. You put those two together. And maybe I'm not going to worry about anything. Crossing it out, everything's going to be fine. Because you're introducing the opportunity for that to be so by saying it. And not draining your body, your mind, your emotions. And most of all, not calling more of it into your existence by the law of attraction. So you're having a happier, more peaceful day when you're not worried. So I hope you've enjoyed today. Time's gone on again. Please share this with your friends and family because you never know. It might just be the one thing that brings their energy high enough so they can cope with whatever's going on. You know, quite a lot of people are having battles emotionally, whatever, financially, other things they're going through. Wouldn't it be great just to give them a little bit of hope or inspiration? Sharing this might just be the one thing they grab onto that day, and it can change how they feel and maybe inspire them to move forward in a more productive, perhaps happier place of being. So it's a Namaste moment again. I've got loads of subjects I want to talk about for Tea with Nans. So I'll be back here next Monday. As I say, please share this. It's been lovely being here with you. Love it. I've missed it last week. And lots of love to everybody that's on here and everyone that's listening. And I hope you have a lovely week with no hole in your boat. One more time. There we go. There's no hole in my boat. Turn that round the other way. Nice smiley face. Lovely. Take care, everybody. I shall see you next Monday at 12 o'clock. Lots of love to all of you.